What is up, clean freaks and filthy friends alike? Filthy Dan coming at you for another ranking video. Today we're going to be ranking the Halloween franchise. And I know what you're thinking. But Dan, didn't you already do a Halloween ranking with the Faccmonster and Chris Snyder? Yes, I did. Now, while I am satisfied with having done that ranking video with those guys, who are fucking awesome YouTubers in their own rights, and it just dawned on me that with a little bit of OCD, I kind of had to do a standalone ranking video for the franchise because, OCDs. And I kind of wanted to have one where it's just my own personal ranking collected in a single video. So here it is. It's going to be, of course, my opinions. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, there are going to be some opinions on here that will twist some tits and curl some panties, but hey, that's half the fun of it. They're my opinions, But yeah, here we go. I'm going to be doing these from what I think is the worst to the best. Let's get these sons of bitches ranked. Now, coming in, no surprise, at the very bottom, number 11 is going to be the abysmal, the tyrannical, the one and only, the entertainment-loving film itself, Halloween Resurrection. This one, I don't know, I kind of liked it as a kid, but upon getting older and rewatching it, the problems in this movie just become so fucking clear, so fucking apparent. You have Jamie Lee Curtis billed as the lead role. I mean, for crying out loud, you see her front and center on the poster of the cast members. She is killed off unceremoniously in the first act of the film as I don't know, it's like she's phoning in the fucking performance. It's not even worth mentioning. Of course, you have Rick Rosenthal, director of Halloween 2, coming back to direct. The way he directs this film, I don't know, it really kind of makes you think that Halloween 2 was not directed by him and perhaps was ghost directed by John Carpenter. Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck cares? This movie sucks. Trick or treat, motherfucker. Busta Rhymes did not act like a normal person in this kind of situation. He's just one of the many aggravating points of this film. And I think two of the biggest sins this movie does is it makes a mockery of Michael Myers at the behest of Busta Rhymes, mind you. Fuck that. Second, this movie totally undoes the triumph of Halloween H2O. And in a lot of ways is responsible for a lot of my feelings toward H2O. And while it's not H2O's fault, Halloween Resurrection is a piece of shit that deserves its place in last place. Fuck Halloween Resurrection. Coming in at number 10, probably not a surprising entry either, is Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Now this one comes off the boot heels of Halloween 4, which had been released the year prior. It was a rushed production, and it is clear when you watch this film. But that's not the main issue. Or, actually yes, it is one of the main issues. You can tell that this is an incomplete story when you watch this film. It's apparent when you have your characters meandering around, buying fucking time just so they can get an actual runtime on this fucking piece of shit. You have a horrible looking mask. Well, maybe not the worst looking, it's still pretty fucking bad looking. My main issue with the mask in this one is that it is supposed to be the same mask from Halloween 4, which it is not. It is clear it is not that same mask. What was Michael doing for a whole year? who knows? Who cares? It's something I'll leave to the imagination of other people. Yeah, I don't even want to ponder what was going on there. You have Jamie Lloyd, who was our character that we really got behind and rooted for, along with Rachel, being kind of set on the back burner in this film. Jamie is reduced to a mute for most of the film. Danielle Harris does great with what she's given, but it's not enough for her to really be able to save this film. And Ellie Cornell as Rachel, they fucking threw her out the window. We got Tina, who's not half as bad as everyone makes her out to be. The only thing that really saves this film is Donald Pleasance, and I kind of like what he brought to this, so that's some saving grace for this film. And yeah, fuck those bozo cops and their fucking balloon clown noises, and more or less, fuck Halloween 5. I'll watch it if I have to. Now, coming in at number 9, here's where I know some people are going to get really ticked off with this ranking. Halloween H2O. Sorry, Destiny. Halloween H2O is a film that does not age very well. Now, this is probably the one that has gone the furthest down my list. I really liked this film as a kid. I mean, I really fucking adored this film. But, as I had said earlier, this film it loses a lot of its impact when the great ending of this film is totally shat on by the film that follows. I know it's not this film's fault, but this film in itself is pretty boring in some places. And it's coming off of the post-Scream slasher rejuvenation. You would expect there to be some more going on, but what I think they really messed up on with this one is they're trying to recapture the essence of the original film, celebrating the 20th anniversary, but they're infusing it with the post-Scream slasher boom. It's a combination that didn't really pan out too well, and you would think it would be lightning in a bottle, but it was more like a fart in a tin can. Michael looks like shit in this film. Should I even talk about the eyes? Let's not talk about Michael's eyes that he shouldn't have, because they were blown out in the second film, which this is more or less a direct sequel to. Yeah, the only thing this film has going for it, LL Cool J and the return of Jamie Lee Curtis. And that final act is honestly one of the best in the franchise, but still not enough to save this movie. Now here in the middle section is where this one got a little trickier. And it really kind of irks me to put this one this low. Now, mind you, I pretty much love all the films from this point on. But coming in at number 8 is Rob Zombie's Halloween, the remake of the 1978 classic. I have a lot of nostalgia for this film. It's one that my dad and I used to watch together sometimes, and it's a movie that kind of helped us bond. The main issue is that, having seen mostly the unrated director's cut, you have to deal with excessive white trashisms. You have that rape escape scene, which is by far the most unnecessary and just un-Halloween thing ever. I do like the portrayal of Michael in this film. I think that Tyler Mane plays one of the scariest fucking Michaels. Rob Zombie actually has a really nice vision with this film, and I really like the intent that he had with it. He had an interesting idea with the backstory of Michael, which I know a lot of people hate, but honestly, I don't mind it too much. Because it's separate from the original film. And if you can separate it from the original film, Rob Zombie's Halloween is actually pretty damn good, and I mean, it can stand on its own as a pretty solid slasher. And I think it would stand on its own a lot better had it not been a Halloween film. But goddamn, is this one still pretty fucking awesome. So Rob Zombie's Halloween, number 8. Now coming in, number 7. This is another one that was... This one has moved around quite a lot too. This has probably moved around the most of all the Halloween films on my list. It is going to be the original Halloween 2 from 1981. Now, I appreciate that this one is a direct sequel to the original, even though they kind of goofed it up in reshoots at the beginning of this film and what's supposed to be the exact end of the previous film. I can look past that. The main issue with this one is Laurie Strode is given nothing to really do. She's practically comatose in a hospital bed. Yes, it's plot relevant, but it gives us almost nothing to do but follow the hospital staff, who, albeit are fun characters, but it strays from the focus of the original film. But most of these sequels do, so why that's a complaint here, I don't know. I really do enjoy the Dr. Loomis going around town with Deputy Hunt. I think that Loomis and Hunt have a little bit better of a chemistry than he had with Brackett in the original film. There's really not too much to dislike in this film. It's just, it gets really boring in some spots. I love that it takes place in the same night, so it's like, it gives you that real feeling of there's an escaped killer in your town. And this one did try to capitalize on the slasher craze that, for all intents and purposes, Halloween kind of paved the way for. That's a whole debate in and of itself, but this one's actually pretty fun to watch. It's one that I'm more likely to give this one a rewatch than a lot of the ones lower on this list. Yeah, there's also the brother-sister twist, which we don't really have a reaction from Laurie Strode about. And come Halloween H2O, she's well aware of it. How she was told, who knows? Because, you know, not much to complain about in this film. It's just, it's middle of the road mediocre, and Dick Warlock gets a little too much hate, I think, for his portrayal of Michael. Watch my review for the whole defense of that one. So here we are, the exact dead center of the list. At number 6 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And while this may be too high for some people, I really enjoy this one because it shows that Rob Zombie is actually bringing something new to the table. One thing he does that's really great is that he provides for us the revelation by Laurie Strode of finding out that she is in fact Michael Myers' sister. It's a pretty fucked up emotional scene, especially when you can get behind her character and you're watching the theatrical cut where she's not a complete bitch. I mean, Laurie's fucked up. I mean, you would be fucked up too if a year or 2 years ago, depending on which cut you watch, you were almost fucking murdered by a 7-foot tall fucking giant. It makes sense. She's handling her trauma a lot different than how Annie is, and because they're two different people, it makes sense that they're handling it differently. But the point is that we get that revelation that they're brother and sister. It makes sense for her to be behaving the way she is by the end, And a lot of people hate on Dr. Loomis in this film for being an arrogant sleazebag who's all about making that fucking money. Of course, that's nothing that Donald Pleasance's Dr. Loomis would have done. But this is not Loomis by Donald Pleasance. This is Malcolm McDowell, written by Rob Zombie as Donald Pleasance. A totally different character. Again, if you separate it from the original continuity, the Rob Zombie films are not that bad. That's my thoughts on that. On the White Horse, that's not in the movie long enough for people to validly complain about it. And I appreciate that Rob Zombie took the creative freedoms that they gave him to try and tell a more psychological story. While that wasn't really it wasn't the best psychological story he could have told, we would see in a film he would do in his career later that he's given the chance to create. But to show that he actually has enough mental energy to try and tell a whole new type of story, not your typical Halloween, just slash him up, fucking Michael walking around in the mask around Haddonfield. I respect Rob Zombie for taking that leap and trying something different. For that reason, Halloween 2 is number 6. Oh, damn, I can hear the fucking keys typing death threats already. So yeah, number 5, Halloween 4. Main reason, I don't have the nostalgia for this one as much as a lot of other people do. Granted, I did watch this one when I was 12, but I had already seen most of the Halloween movies up to that point by that time. Now, with that said, I still fucking love Halloween 4. And it easily has some of the best atmosphere in the whole franchise. Again, I don't really hate the mask in this film. Yeah, it looks stupid as shit. But they're not going to be selling the same fucking mask that you could get for $1 10 years later. A slight variation? Yeah, why not? But, I don't know, people look at the mask as being the main issue. I mean, this is a damn solid flick. George P. Wilbur is Michael Myers here. Yeah, he's a little goofy looking because of the hockey pads they got him wearing. He moves a little weird in this one, but I don't know, he's still a pretty damn solid Myers. A lot of you guys know my thoughts on that one already. This movie is really it's carried very well by the relationship between Ellie Cornell and Danielle Harris as Rachel and Jamie. And of course, Donald Pleasance coming back as Dr. Loomis. He's fucking brilliant here. And, we get definitely, I think, the single greatest bit of character chemistry with Loomis and anybody else when he is going around with Sheriff Brackett, played by Bo Starr in this film. I mean, they're a great fucking duo, and that's one thing too. Bo Starr as Sheriff Meeker is probably one of the most solid sheriffs ever to be in a Halloween film, maybe outside of Brad Dourif's Brackett. But the way he's hands-on with actually trying to protect his town, where Brackett in the original film was like, yeah, you know, where fucking where Brackett is not so quick to act, Meeker is like, hey, we're gonna get this guy and we're gonna take him the fuck down, okay? I mean, that's just fucking great. And the way Michael decimates this fucking town, like, he shuts this town down just to get to his niece. That shows that Michael at this point is no longer a man. This is the point where he's become a force of nature. And I don't know, Michael is really, really fucking scary in this film, despite his goofy looking mask. Halloween 4, despite its low placement here, is a great fucking film. And it's definitely a must watch. It's also the start of one of my favorite points in the franchise, the Thorn Trilogy. Why was 5 so low? Shh. But yeah, Halloween 4, number 5. Coming in at number 4, coming in at number 4, Halloween 3. Now, Halloween 3, I really appreciate this film for what it tried to do. And what that is it tried to take a different direction with this franchise. It tried to create a anthology, a set of films set around the Halloween holiday, not having to do with Michael Myers, but having to do with some scary, fucked up shit that could happen on Halloween night. Brilliant idea, maybe a little too late. Now, had this been the second film, I think people would have gravitated to this idea, and while I love Michael Myers, I would have freaking loved to see the angle they could have gone with the anthology. I still think it's not too late. It would be cool if after Halloween ends, I don't know why that amused me, but after Halloween ends, I would like to see them try and redo this anthology angle. But I really appreciate this film for trying to take that step to do something different. It's easily one of the most rewatchable films in the franchise. Like, if I want to watch a Halloween movie, but I can't decide, do I want to watch Michael Myers chase some girl down? Or do I want to watch Michael chase a girl down? If I want to watch Michael chase a girl down, hey, what about watching Michael chase a girl down? If I can't decide between any of those, I'll say, you know what? I'll watch the one where Tom Atkins, drunk as piss, with his fucking badass mustache and 20-something-year-old babe, go to California to stop an evil mask maker from trying to kill the whole fucking world's population of children. Let's watch that one. This one has the most interesting story out of the franchise, I think, and in a lot of ways it's one of the darkest fucking horror films ever made when you consider the ending of this film, and I like it for that nihilistic approach. Halloween 3, number 4, man. Coming in third place, sorry Faccmonster, is going to be Halloween 2018. Now, when this film came out, I was hyped to the tits. This was going to be my first Halloween theatrical experience, and building up to that, I was fucking excited. I was jumping off walls. I was doing backflips practically, and when I went to see it in the theaters, there was nobody in the theater, in my mind. I mean, there was people in the theater. But when I watched it, it was just me and that fucking movie screen. And since then, the hype has not died down for this film. I mean, as you can see, it is clearly one of my favorites of the franchise. What I really appreciate about this film is that it takes away the brother-sister angle between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers that has dictated the direction of the franchise for up to 40 years at this point. Throws that out the window and says, you know what? How about she's paranoid? We're kind of going to take the H2O approach. We're going to flip that around a little bit. I mean, it pissed a lot of people off, but I fucking love this film for what it is. The hype has not died down. This is one I'm still fucking excited to watch whenever I do watch it. And this one, it serves as a great double feature with the original. Yeah, it may take some weird steps in some weird directions. I mean, the Sartain twist pisses a lot of people off. I can look past it. It doesn't bother me all that much. Yeah, it's goofy. That's what the Sartain twist is. It just doesn't piss me off like it does other people. And yeah, it was kind of convoluted how they got Michael and Laurie to meet up. But damn, this movie was worth the wait. I mean, mind you, we did have to wait like 16 years after Resurrection to get a proper Halloween film. I'm not saying Rob Zombie films were improper, but they were part of a whole nother continuity, so speaking in terms of the original continuity, this film was worth the wait, and it's better than any possible follow-up they could have had to Resurrection, I think. This is one I can gush about. There's a whole lot of great characters in this film, almost too many characters, and I'm so fucking curious and a little irritated about Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. I'd like to see where they can go with those. I'm a little nervous that they're bringing the band back together, but that's another video for another time. In the meantime, Halloween 2018 is number 3. Now here we go, the one that's going to just fucking piss everyone off. Number 2 is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. And I know what you're thinking. Dan, why the hell is that so high? Well, you see, this is the film that pretty much turned me into a horror fan. It's the first horror film I remember seeing. I watched the shit out of this one on VHS when I was a kid. You've all heard this story a million times over. This is a film that, despite all its problems, I can't really complain about anything in this film. I love Paul Rudd's quirky acting. It makes sense with his character having been a child when he encountered Michael Myers. You get the nice swan song performance by Donald Pleasance, made all the better by the producer's cut, where they keep all the brilliant shit that he was able to do. And the theatrical cut, they kind of snip to ribbons all the great shit that Donald Pleasance had to offer. Both cuts of the film are amazing to watch. I know you're probably thinking, amazing? Halloween 6? Yeah, for me personally, yes. This film easily has the best or second best atmosphere in the franchise. It's pretty 90s, but it's not as stuck in the 90s as Halloween H2O, where you can't dissociate it from that period. I mean, there's so much love I have for this film. Yeah, I'm probably blinded by the rose tint of nostalgia, but for me, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers is definitely number 2, and it deserves its place for everything it's done for me to create a horror fan. And you know, it's one of those movies I've loved for most of my life, and putting it any lower than this would be a sin in my eyes, and putting it any higher would probably get my house set on fire. So Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, number 2, sitting there peacefully. And to the surprise of absolutely nobody, coming in at number 1, the top of the food chain, is John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween. What is there to say about this film that hasn't already been said, except for... yeah, I can't think of anything that hasn't been said. This film is great for most everything that it does. You have the great performance by Donald Pleasance, who carried most of this franchise on his back for the better part of 20 years. You have the star-making performance by Jamie Lee Curtis. While she wasn't the greatest actress at the time, she created the archetype of what a final girl would be in a slasher film, and that would define that type of character for the next 10 to 20 years, and even to this day in a lot of respects. You get the introduction of Michael Myers, perhaps the most infamous, famous, notorious whatever word you want to use, the fucking one of the most iconic fucking serial killers in movie history, most iconic villain in movie history, one of them. Of course, the music in this film, fucking brilliant, written by John Carpenter himself. It really carries this movie, and of course we all know the story about the test audiences who said that this movie is not scary because they didn't have the music. Without that music, we probably wouldn't be here talking about this movie. And without this movie, a lot of us probably wouldn't be here sharing our love for horror, especially those of us who are fucking slasher hounds. Again, I don't know what more I could possibly say about the original Halloween that has not already been said, except that it's the perfect film in this franchise. I mean, fuck. What is there to say? Halloween, number one. Yeah, it's responsible for all the great slashers that we've gotten since it came out. Don't know what else to say. Well, thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like and share this video and stab the fuck out of that subscribe button if you have not already. And if you're feeling extra filthy, go ahead and drop your rankings of the Halloween franchise down below. And as always, stay filthy.